Hello, we are looking at the daily Forex report for April 22nd. This particular pair we're looking at is the US Japanese yen pair. It did close higher today, however, it did pull back a substantial amount before moving higher. We are looking for this pair to continue moving sideways with a bias that is sideways. Look for it to potentially go as high as 94.11. Look for it to potentially go as low as 92.27. Look for some resistance around 93.75 and look for some support around 92.75. Now looking at the EURUSD pair, this particular pair closed down, moved a substantial amount, did break previous support but pulled back before the close. We are looking for this pair overall to continue moving sideways with a bias sideways. Look for it to potentially go as high as 134.77 if we get a pullback, possibly as low as 131.82. Look for some resistance around 133.50 and look for some support around 132.50. Okay, let's take a look at the pound US dollar pair. This particular pair closed down today, did make new highs, but overall moving to the upside, but we've moved into this range where I think we're going to move sideways again for a little while. Look for it to potentially go as high as 155.46, possibly as low as 152.51. Look for some resistance around 154.75 and look for some support around 152.85. Okay, now the US Swiss, this particular pair moved higher, did break previous resistance. Look for it to continue moving to the upside. Could hit some resistance around 10800 and look for support around 10725. Now, as far as news announcements goes, we have the gross domestic product for the pound being released for the first quarter at 4:30 a.m. Eastern Time tomorrow. Consensus is it's going to hold at 0.4%. Now, year to date, they're showing an increase from negative 3.1% to a negative 0.1%. So that could be really good news for the pound if the numbers come out there or greater, especially if we push into positive territory. Now, at 8:30, we have the Canadian dollar releasing their retail sales for February. Consensus is that retail sales have dropped a little bit from 0.7% down to 0.0%. Now, as far as what I'm looking at, especially going into Friday this next week, it's a little bit longer time frame. I did just switch to the week time frame on the US Swiss. If you notice here, we have a swing trade opportunity in this pair. This particular pair, over the past 3 sessions, swing trade opportunity. Look for a buy during this next week, potentially going up to this area. Let me show you kind of what that looks like. I do anticipate this happening, especially if this trend to the upside continues. Be about 65 pips, which for a week move, during a week time frame move, is not that great. I do anticipate us going to that point or it moving that high, so definitely keep an eye on that. Now, the pound also has a swing trade set up. Unfortunately, it is to the downside, or fortunately, I guess, depending on which side of the market you're on. We have seen this pattern before on the weekly time frame. Remember, the higher the time frame you go, typically the more reliable the pattern. Now, this particular pair, I do believe, will continue lower down to at least around this area. We have some support at that area. We also have some support a little bit further down. So let's take a look at what that looks like. That would be going short roughly around the 52.30 mark, coming on down to 316 pips. So this one's a little bit better move, a little bit bigger move. And then another 439 pips. Now, if you wanted to potentially right here go to break even, because we do have some previous resistance that could turn into support, you could go to break even at about 100 pips. Look for it to go on down to 309 and then to 404. I wouldn't risk more than, say, 100 pips on this move or on this trade, maybe 150 at tops. And we should see that during this next week. So definitely keep an eye on these trades. Well, that pretty much wraps us up for today. Until next time, this is Jason Fielder. Good trading.